How many owners do you need to talk to before you actually find a deal? I want to set correct expectations for finding your first deal, and keep in mind your first one is always the hardest. So many people quit because they haven't given themselves a long enough chance to actually find a deal. And in many cases, investors are doing exactly what they need to be doing, but they stop just way too early. They're inches from gold, but they give up. So today I want to talk about how much work is required before you can actually expect to find a deal. The real answer to all of this is it depends, but that's not the answer you want from me. So I'm going to give you some ideas and some ways that you can look at this. We're going to break down some numbers, and these are some numbers that you could say are kind of national averages. They may be higher in your area, they may be lower in your area, but if you use this as a guide and then keep track of your own numbers, then you can replicate that pretty easily. Let me show you what I mean here. We basically say, we want to do one deal, and that's our end result here. So we want to do one deal. So what we want to do is called reverse engineer our success. So how do we go about doing that? So if we want one deal, then the question is, how many offers do we need to make? Because we're not going to get a deal signed until we make some offers. Then we say, okay, how many appointments do I need to go on to actually get these for these offers? Then we're going to say, how many prospects? How many people do I need to talk to that are actually interested in selling their property? Then we got to say, how many conversations do I need to have? And then how many leads do I end up needing to get so that I can have the conversations, which turn into prospects, which turn into appointments, which turn into offers, which turns into a deal. That's what we're talking about here, guys, is how can I actually get a deal? So we're reverse engineering our success. So hey, let me give you some statistics here, just kind of give you an idea here. So typically your offers to a deal is going to be about 25% conversion. So those offers that go to that. Appointments, you're going to be about 75% to offers. Prospects, you're going to be about 5% to appointments. That's not a good 5. And then conversations, you're going to be about 13% or conversations will turn into a prospect. And you're going to have about 70% of the leads that you're going to end up getting their contact information on when we're doing a skip trace type idea. So that's what we're talking about here, is how do we reverse engineer this success? Well, let's break it down just a little bit further here. So let's say you get 5,000 leads. Well, where in the heck am I going to get 5,000 leads? Well, one of the ways you can do that is driving for dollars. You're driving for properties, those properties that are in need of repairs, you're marking it down, and then you're skip tracing those. And with that skip trace, you end up about getting 5,000 different names, phone numbers, and that type of stuff. Now, if that's the case and you get 5,000, let's get my handy dandy calculator out here. If you get 5,000 leads, okay, and then what we're saying is with that, you're going to end up having 13 conversations. So you're gonna have 650 conversations. Those are people that you're gonna actually talk to, okay? And then 5% of those are gonna be actual prospects. So 32 is the number of prospects that we're gonna have. Now, out of that, we are hoping that we will be able to get 24 appointments. Because we're about 5% or 13% of those are going to turn, 75% of those are going to turn into it. And then what we're hoping with that is we can get 25% of those are going to turn into offers, which will turn into 6. And then offers to the deal, you're basically to contract, you're about 25%. So you're going to end up with 1.5 deals if this is the case. Now, are these numbers going to be 100% accurate? Absolutely not. But what these numbers are going to be is a guide to start with. So realizing I've got to have 650 conversations, I've got to find 5,000 leads, I've got to have 32 prospects, I've got to have 24 appointments, I've got to have 6 offers that I'm making, which will turn into 1.5 deals, gives you a blueprint of where you need to go. Now, the other thing you need to do is keep track of your numbers. Once you actually do your own numbers, you're going to come in here and you're going to say, hey, guess what? In my area, the conversations to lead is 80%, but guess what? It's only 10% here. And this is 6%, but this is, 70%, and this turned into 10%, or whatever the case is. Once you start understanding your numbers in your area, and you've done this a couple of times, then you can get pretty predictable of saying, hey, I know what it's going to take for me to find a deal, and I'm going to know the time that has to go into that. Now, there's a lot of things that play into this. Your skill sets play into this. The market you're in plays into into this, the price range you're going after plays into this, what softwares and tools you're using play into this, what education you have plays into this. All of these things, all of these factors plays into it. But what we don't want to have play into this is simply luck. That's not what we want to do. We want to reverse engineer success, so we're not sitting on luck or hoping for luck. We want to say, this is my game plan. Now, here's the great thing about a roadmap. It gets you moving in the right direction. And even if it doesn't get you to your final destination, at least you know you're closer to where you need to be to find that success. And so you can keep going because you realize what it's going to take and the work that's going to get there. Then once you actually figure out your own numbers, you can replicate that success time and time again. I want to show you something here. This is what we actually call our next property roadmap. We put this together for our members. And what they're able to do is come in here. They can put in their own information, how many times, distance between properties. This gives you a week by week homework assignment of what you need to do. And it gives you conversion ratios of to exactly what it's going to do, and gives you a game plan. You put in how much time you're willing to drive. You go in and make this all for yourself, and it will give you how many weeks approximately based upon statistical averages it's going to take you. Now, you can do postcards, you can do skip tracing, you can do phone calls. It's going to talk about how many hours it's going to take you, how many hours a week. Now, is this 100% accurate? Absolutely not. But again, it's a blueprint, it's a direction. It gets you going in the right direction so you can have the success. And as you start seeing your conversion numbers, you can come in and change that blueprint so that you can make it with your numbers and your area and what's happening there, which could be better, could be worse. It all depends, but it gets you moving in the right direction, and it sets proper expectations on what it's going to take for you to actually find that deal. One of the other things I find a lot of people having concerns with is making too many offers and having them all get accepted. Don't worry about this. And the reason is you have a clause in your agreements, if you're doing them properly, that has you have the right to do inspections and due diligence. Now, your due diligence isn't just that you walk through the property and don't find anything. It's also that it's a good deal for you and you're able to arrange financing, and it's something that you want to move forward on. And you see, when you see a property for the first time and you've only been there for 10 minutes and then you make an offer on it, as a buyer, you want to have the right to go back there and check out the property and make sure all your financing is in line. Now, let's say you made 6 offers and all 6 of them got accepted. Well, number one, congratulations. But number two, that's probably not very likely. Most of them probably aren't going to be accepted. As a matter of fact, we think that you're only going to have 25% of those offers get accepted if it comes through an appointment. Now, if you're working with an agent, these numbers are completely different. We're focused on off-market properties with this. If you're working with an agent, there's a whole different formula. That's a conversation for another day. Don't be afraid of having those multiple offers. Let's say all 6 of them did get accepted. Well, you have some choices here. You might be able to wholesale those properties to another investor and make a fee to do that. You may be able to close on a couple of those properties, and you may just want to find the very best deal and do that one and remove yourself from the other contracts. Now, you can properly do this as long as your contract's written and you do it within the deadlines and you don't lose any earnest money in doing that. Biggest thing I see with all this is this mindset of sticking with it. The difference between I see people having success and the people not having success really comes down to the mindset of saying, I'm going to do this until I have success. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. I'm going to stick with it. It's kind of the stick to the task until it sticks to you mentality. And that is one thing that I see lacking in a lot of people that makes a major difference. So to help you get your next deal, I'm going to give you a free tool I developed for my members. It's called the Next Property Roadmap. It's one that I showed you earlier. You put in a few details about your area and how much time you have, and it will tell you exactly what to do each week and how long it will take you to find a deal. If you'd like to get your hands on that, text your email address to 435-294-0433. Text your email address to that number and I'll send it to you via email, and make it a very profitable day.